There are two mechanisms of production of the ATP energy without oxygen. And one mechanism called fermentation, and the other called anaerobic cell respiration. Again, aerobic mean oxygen, an mean without oxygen. And two mechanisms. So let's review this. In aerobic respiration with oxygen, final substance which accepting electron is oxygen. Some living organisms use organic molecules as a final electron acceptor, and this process will be called fermentation. During the fermentation, organic molecules use to regenerate NAD from NADH. And in contrast, the other living organism use electron transport chain, and during this they uses inorganic molecule as a final electron acceptor, not the oxygen, but for example nitrogen. And it will call anaerobic cellular respiration. Both processes allow organism to convert energy for the use in absence of the oxygen. So they will call both anaerobic. Lactic acid fermentation. During the lactic acid fermentation, for example, certain bacteria in the yogurt doing this, or in the animal red blood cells also have lactic acid fermentation to produce energy. And red blood cells, they don't have mitochondria, so they cannot use oxidative phosphorylation to produce energy. And function of overall red blood cell is to transport oxygen. If this cell have mitochondria, they will use all oxygen. So this is why these cells don't have mitochondria, and they will be using lactic acid fermentation to produce ATP. The other cells in the animal, skeletal muscle cells, they have mitochondria, but when skeletal muscles contracting, working during the long period of the time, insufficient oxygen will be produced. It means when skeletal muscles contract long period of the time, blood don't have time to bring enough oxygen for the ATP production through aerobic respiration. So in this case, muscle also will start to use anaerobic mechanism of the lactic acid fermentation. So in here you can see lactic acid fermentation chemical reaction. So from the pyruvic acid, pyruvate, which produced during glycolysis, NADH, and it will be converted to lactic acid. Pyruvate is the substrate. This NADH energy carrier molecule, and lactic acid will be product, and NADH will be converted to the NAD and could be reused again. And in here you can see more to visualize. So first, glucose will be converted through glycolysis and to pyruvates. So glycose in here substrate and pyruvate is product. And during this reaction will be 2 ATP produced. And during this reaction also NAD will be converted to NADH. Energy we have in here now, electrons. So next, in order for this organism, they don't have oxygen, so they cannot use pyruvate to produce a lot of energy, but they still need to produce more and more ATP. So what this organism doing, these cells, they will convert pyruvate to the lactate. Pyruvate will be substrate in this reaction, and lactate will be product in this reaction. And during this reaction, what's happening? Main purpose of this will be to regenerate NAD. So we can again to do glycolysis over and over. So we converting NAD H with electron to NAD, and electrons will be moving to in the product molecule. So now we will talk about alcohol fermentation. During alcohol fermentation, some organism, for example, yeast, can produce ethanol, alcohol. This is why it's called like this, and CO2. And in the first reaction will be one enzyme used, pyruvate decarboxylase. ACE mean indicate its enzyme, and it's vitamin B1. How again we can see that vitamins B are important for energy production. And in the second reaction will be the other enzyme used, alcohol dehydrogenase, again ACE mean enzyme, and in the end of this reaction, alcohol will be produced. So in here you can see equation. First reaction, pyruvic acid produced during glycolysis will be converted using this enzyme to CO2 gas and acetaldehyde. And during this reaction, NADH will be produced. So then will be second reaction happening. And during second reaction from acetaldehyde, the other enzyme, alcohol dehydrogenase, will convert it to the ethanol alcohol. And in the same reaction, what happening? NADH will be oxidized to the NAD, and electrons will be now energy in the alcohol molecule product.